Through the software, we can understand how the energy monitoring system provides data and how we can view it. First, we can see the reading for the current month. From the first of the month until today, the reading is 10,847 kilowatt hours units. After that, we can see the company's name, the department where the system is installed, and the factory address. This is the main energy meter of the factory. The data shown here can be monitored live. We can view the data hour-wise, day-wise, month-wise, and even minute-wise. If we want to see day-wise data or past history, we can simply select the desired date and check the historical data. We can also download all these reports. The first parameter we see is power, which depends on the sanctioned load. According to that, we can set a threshold for the maximum demand. Here, it is set to 60 kilowatts. If the maximum demand or sanctioned load exceeds 60 kilowatts or even approaches it, the system will send a signal, trigger an alarm, or provide a notification once the load crosses the set limit. If we look at the current condition, the running load is 24.3 kilowatts. The system also shows the load pattern for the entire day, which helps us understand the company's load condition throughout the day. The second important parameter is the power factor, which has a major impact on equipment performance and electricity consumption. Therefore, it is very important that the power factor remains healthy and is checked regularly. A standard has been set where if the power factor is above 0.997, it is considered healthy and categorized as an excellent factor. If we observe this company's data, the power factor is mostly in the excellent range. However, in some conditions, it is seen to drop slightly. This can happen when the load fluctuates or when there is a torque-related load change. But under maximum conditions, it should ideally remain in the excellent range, above 0.997. If it drops below this level, we should identify the cause and correct it. For this reason, daily or live monitoring is necessary. Next is total. Total energy consumption. Currently, what we see is on an hourly basis. The hourly graph shows how much energy consumption has happened during the current hour. This consumption can also be checked minute-wise, day-wise, hour-wise, and month-wise, and reports can be downloaded. Because of this, it becomes easier to calculate and tally the electricity cost related to production or equipment based on the amount of consumption. Voltage and current chart. Next is the voltage and current chart. Through this, we can check whether there are fluctuations in the power supply and whether there is any risk to the equipment. We can monitor the voltage of each R, Y, B phase, the average voltage, and whether the correct voltage level is being received. These trends can be viewed hour-wise, day-wise, month-wise, or through backdated reports. By reviewing backdated voltage trends, we can identify conditions such as high voltage or voltage fluctuations. We can also check phase to neutral voltage as well as line-to-line voltage. The third parameter is current. Based on the current load, we can see how much current is being drawn from the system. We can also check whether there is any phase imbalance or single phasing in the system. The current data is also available in monthly, daily, hourly, and backdated records. Next, harmonics help us understand the health of the power supply we receive. We may check the quantity of power, how many units are consumed, but it is also important to check the quality of the incoming power. Therefore, checking harmonics is very important because harmonics have a significant impact on the life and performance of electrical equipment. Harmonics are divided into two types: voltage harmonics, current harmonics. Voltage harmonics are generally developed at the source side or come from the source. For example, they may originate from a transformer or a generator set, genset. If the source or the power supply is healthy, the voltage harmonics remain under control. We can also generate various reports from the energy monitoring system installed in our facility. Through these reports, we can analyze power consumption, total units consumed, and the overall consumption trend. For the current month, we can generate reports that show how many units were consumed, what the power factor was, and other related parameters. The day is divided into 4 zones, and it shows how much power we consume in each zone. The first zone is Zone A, which is from 12 o'clock midnight to 6 o'clock am. After that comes Zone B, which is from 6 am to 9 am. The third is Zone C, which is from 9 am to 5 pm. The fourth and last zone is called peak hours, which is from 5 pm to 12 midnight. During these peak hours, the power supply is charged at a slightly higher rate. Because of this, we need to pay some additional charges. These 4 zones show how much power we have consumed in each zone during the current month. It displays the total power consumption and the distribution of that consumption across the different zones. One advantage of this zoning system is that we can clearly see in which zone we are using the most power. For example, in Zone C, electricity is relatively cheaper, or Maharashtra State Electricity Distribution Company Limited, MSEDCL, provides some discount. Because of this discounted power,
in these 4 zones, if we divide the data accordingly, it shows how much power we have consumed in each of the 4 zones during the current month. It also displays how much power was consumed in each individual zone. The advantage of this zoning system is that it allows us to identify in which zone the power has been used. For example, in the C zone, the power is slightly cheaper or the electricity cost in that zone is lower. Because of this cheaper power, if we look at the data, we use 31.1% of the total power in the C zone, but while paying the electricity bill, we paid only 23.4% of the cost for that power. Therefore, savings are possible in the C zone. Because of this, we should try to keep maximum power consumption in the C zone. By doing so, we can plan our power usage more efficiently. Through this system, we can clearly see which zone has how much power consumption. Additionally, using the energy monitoring system installed in our facility, we can generate various reports. These reports show total power consumption, the amount of energy used, the trend of power consumption over time. We can also generate the current month's report, which shows how many units were consumed, what the power factor was. All this information can be generated and analyzed through the system.